Hey, it's Melania. I'm going to talk to you guys about postpartum depression because this is something that is very close to home to me because I went through it with my daughter 7 years ago. And actually, I'm still dealing with the effects of that to this day. So, I'm not going to go into my birth story because I actually wrote that in a book, and I can link that book down in the description below. The book is so outdated, and it was my very first published thing, and I didn't know what I was doing, but my birth story is in there, and if you want to read it, you can click on the link. So postpartum depression. My postpartum depression journey started while I was still pregnant. So in the last month or so, maybe last 2 months of my pregnancy, I had really severe anxiety. I mean, I wouldn't say severe, but it was moderate. Not enough. I didn't take anything. Well, I couldn't take anything because I was pregnant, but I had a lot of panic attacks, and I wasn't sleeping, and I had all kinds of weird thoughts going through my head that just completely affected how I processed every day-to-day things. Like, I would freak out about stuff that I shouldn't be freaking out about. But most of that was happening inside. Like, I did not verbalize any of these anxieties, or and I just kind of try to keep calm. So on the outside, I looked like I was doing great, but on the inside, I cried. I remember crying a lot, and I brought that up to my midwife at the time. I was seeing a midwife at a birthing center because I was going to have a natural birth. And I told her, I was like, this is what's happening right now. I'm having this, I'm not sleeping, I'm having anxiety. And she's like, oh, this is normal. All moms go through this, it's your body preparing you for childbirth and being up all the time. So yeah, and you have to pee all the time, so that's why you're waking up. And I was like, I kind of think there's more to us than that. But anyways, then I had my birth, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I went from the birthing center to the hospital, and at the hospital I ended up having interventions, and I had a vacuum-assisted birth, which resulted in a huge tear. I ended up spiking a fever, and so I had to be in the hospital extra days because the baby needed antibiotics, and I did too. And then I didn't have, my milk supply wasn't coming, and so they had me pumping every 2 hours in addition to trying to feed her every 2 hours, and so I wasn't sleeping at all. I came home, I was miserable, and let me back up. When at the hospital, when they put my daughter on my chest, after my 32 hours that I had been in labor prior, I thought there would be like this, this is why I went through all of this, because I get to hold you and, feel that loving feelings. I didn't. I did not feel those loving feelings that you hear about moms talking about. I actually was like, what the fuck what just happened? Why did I do this? And not that I didn't love, like, I instantly, like, my maternal stuff kicked in. Like, I need to feed her, protect her, like, all that stuff, change her, kicked in. But that euphoria, that love, the oxytocin that you're supposed to get, I did not get that. So I went home and my baby cried all the time. Finally, my milk came in. Thankfully, the hospital had banked milk to help supplement my supply, but banked breast milk. But yeah, I came home and I wasn't sleeping. The baby cried all the time. She was colicky. I didn't have any appetite. I didn't want to eat. And nothing sounded good. Not even my most favorite comfort foods like mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, French fries. I didn't even want to eat French fries, which is like, I will never turn down French fries. I was so miserable. Absolutely miserable. And I felt like a terrible mother. I felt like a terrible mother because I couldn't have my natural birth. I felt like a terrible mother because I hated every minute of this postpartum period. I felt like a terrible mother because I couldn't handle motherhood. I felt like a terrible mother because I felt like this was a mistake, that I screwed up my life. So then I felt like a terrible mother because of that. And it just got more, like those feelings went out of control, like those thoughts went out of control. So I was struggling. In 2 weeks after I went to my 2-week appointment, I went to see the midwives from the birthing center and then the midwives at the hospital where I had delivered. The midwife at the birthing center, she stressed me out because I guess the baby hadn't gained enough weight, and so she's like, you need to do all this stuff to get your milk supply. And I was like, fuck, I can't even feed my child. I'm already failing at everything, and I can't even feed my child. And I started crying, and so she's like, oh, you might be having some baby blues. Here's some pamphlets about baby blues information, and on the back there's a list of different support groups you can attend. And I thought, lady, I can't even get out of the house. Like, coming here felt like I was gonna travel to Europe, you know, packing up to travel to Europe. Like, that's what it felt like. And I just wanted to throw those pamphlets right in her face. Then the next day I went to the midwife at the hospital, and she's like, the baby's fine. Yeah, you know, you're feeding it. You'll be fine. You know, if this continues, then we'll address it. But she's looking good. And she's like, but how are you doing, honey? And I start crying because that was the first time someone had asked how I was doing. And she said, oh, okay. She set everything down. The baby's fine. Let's talk about you. And I kind of told her, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm failing here, and I don't know, you know. And she's like, you're not failing. It's just, this is hard work, and you've been through a lot, and you need support, and you need to sleep. So she helped me out, getting like a game plan to feel a little bit better, and it worked. Like, I started feeling much better. It wasn't totally gone. Like, she was addressing baby blues, but what I had was postpartum depression because it continued past the baby blues period. And yeah, everything just felt wrong and dark. Like, nothing, just doing a load of laundry felt like I was gonna go climb Mount Hood. I mean, everything felt hard. Like, the simplest tasks, like getting up and brushing your teeth, felt like I needed to dress up for prom or something. Like, it just was awful. Like, and I am one of these people. I'm very independent. I'm very self-sufficient, and I get shit done, and I couldn't get shit done. and everything was dark, and I had a lot of dark thoughts. I never I didn't have suicidal thoughts, and the only reason I didn't have suicidal thoughts is because my brother lost his battle to depression over 20 years ago. And I did not want my family to go through that. I didn't want my mom to lose another child. And I just, oh God, I'm gonna cry. The best way to describe it is being in a dark tunnel at a dead end. And it's dark, and you can't make it end because you're at a dead end. There's nowhere to go. Like, you're stuck. And I couldn't find my way out. And it was dark. And nobody else could find me there. And I refused. There's times I was pissed off at my brother. I'm like, why the fuck did you end your life? Now I can't end mine, so now I'm stuck in this misery. That is where my mind went. That is how dark it was in there. Thankfully, I did get help, and I did find my way out of that dark place. And I will talk about that in the next video. But I wanted to share with you what I went through, because we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I know there's a lot more awareness about maternal mental health today than there was 7 years ago. Gosh, 7 years ago, I couldn't find hardly anything. I mean, I remember reading Brooke Shields' book, Down Came the Rain, and a couple other books. But I was so tired I couldn't even read. Like, I was just miserable. And if you're going through something like this, if you are experiencing this or have experienced it in your life, know that you're not alone. Postpartum depression happens a lot more than people realize. And it's a lot more common. And part of it is because you're being seen for your prenatal visits. You're like every month, then every 2 weeks, then every week, and then the baby comes. And then you have your 2-week appointment, and then like your 6 or 8-week appointment, and then you're good to go. Why aren't healthcare providers seeing women the whole year, like at least 9 months after the baby arrives? Like, it makes no sense. And part of it is because insurance companies, I mean, I work in healthcare and I know all this crap. It's my beef with insurance companies. They don't know, they don't understand. And they're making medical decisions that they won't cover things because somebody up at the top thinks that's not necessary. They're trying to cut corners and whatnot. So women should have care the whole year after they have the baby. They should be watched and made sure. And if they're doing great, then you you can give them, you're released. You're good to go. But even then, I think people, they need, because stuff can happen later on. Like, you can be doing really great, but then like 6 months in, something happens. And there's lots of things that happens during the postpartum period. Thankfully, I ended up seeing an OB because I ended up having to have a surgery during my maternity leave. I had to see an OB for that. And she caught some stuff. She caught stuff right away, and because of her, I'm here today. she was the one who helped me on medication, which I will talk about that in the next video. But I'm so grateful for her, because if she hadn't stepped in to help me, I don't know if I'd be here today. So please know you're not alone. There's a lot of mamas going through this, and the more we talk about it, the more we reach out and share our experiences, we can get through this. We can get through this. We can raise awareness. Maybe insurance policies will change to protect mamas. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video. I will talk about how I got out of that dark place and some of the tips that helped me. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And mama, if you're struggling, hang in there. Hang in there. It does get better. I promise. All right, take care.